Life can feel like one giant never-ending mess. New feeds, full of chaos, burnout knocking on your door, everything just feeling too much. If you're tired of the stress and looking for real ways to relax and actually feel human again, you're in the right place. Today I'm sharing simple, practical things that help me stay sane when life feels overwhelming. No fluff, just real coping skills that actually work for me. Now, not all these coping skills will work for you, but this is just what works for me. Maybe by watching this video, you'll get some ideas of some coping skills to try, some relaxing things to do, and maybe you just relate. First off, we all have those sessions where we cry, we get mad, and we feel anxious about what's going on in the world. Very valid to feel those feelings. But once we're done having a little emotional session, and we don't want to sit in the pity party too long because that's not healthy. You shouldn't be trying to feel that way 24/7, 7 days a week. That's just not healthy. We all need those coping skills. The first coping skill I use is fidgets. This is, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's LOSCA. I think I spelled it right, but I could have spelled that wrong. I really love this. This is my third favorite fidget. Mostly because it's very noisy is why it doesn't. It's not in my top 2. Because it's a fidget I can only use at my house and I can't use in public because it's so noisy. But I do love the motion it makes and it doesn't hurt my wrist at all. I really love this and highly recommend everyone get one. My second favorite fidget is polished stone river rocks, very curved rocks, because they all feel a little bit different, smooth. Some of them are smooth and cracked, some of them are much more matte feeling, some of them are shinier and glossier feeling. You can use these as woolly stone. You can squeeze them, you can flip them. This is very good for in public use and at home use because they're very quiet, they're more discreet than some other fidgets. My number 1 favorite fidget is this. I think it's called a bendy snake necklace on Amazon. Amazon's where I got this one, by the way. But it's very similar a Tangled, only this one I believe is made out of metal instead of plastic. So that's why I bought the bendy snake necklace instead of the Tangled. I really like this one because it's very quiet. The movement doesn't hurt my hands. And it can be more discreet, but also it can be a little bit more showy if you want it to be. My second coping skill / how I relax is TV shows. I find that watching TV shows I've seen before or new TV shows can help distract me. If I'm very sick, needing to relax, really needing to relax and have a lot of anxiety, or really cried that day, I tend to go for shows I've watched a million times before, Leon Stitch, Bob's Burgers, Hell's Kitchen, Crime Scene Kitchen, Cutthroat Kitchen, The Simpsons, Family Guy, different Disney princess movies Princess and the Frog, Beauty and the Beast, Tangled, Mulan. That sort of thing is what I tend to watch. But on days when I need something to distract me, but I'm not really needing something that I've seen before, I tend to watch news stories. I tend to watch a lot of international shows besides American. So some of the Korean dramas I recommend and have loved watching Crash Landing on You, Hotel de Luna, Love in the Moonlight, and Brainwork. Crash Landing on You was about a CEO who happened to be testing out a parachute, I believe it was, or like a flight outfit, and things went haywire, and she happened to crash land on the Korean soldier, and she couldn't believe that she was actually in North Korea because she was in South Korea a couple hours before. And then over the series, the North Korean soldier and her end up falling in love. That's basically the premise of the story. Hotel Del Luna it's very like fantasy, magical, romantic, that type. Love in the Moonlight is very historical. It's like a historical romance. Framework is actually my most favorite crime show I've ever watched from South Korea. I don't particularly care for crime stories from Korea very often because I find they tend to do more like drawn out crime stories where it's like you spend 16, 20, 24 episodes on one crime case. And I'm not particularly one who cares for those type of crime stories. I particularly much prefer crime stories where it's like you spend 1 to 2 episodes on a case and then you move on. And Brainworks was that kind of show where you spent like 1 to 2 episodes on a crime case, then you moved on. The characters were amazing. The storyline was amazing. I could watch it a million times over. It was that good. For Thai dramas that I really love and have watched is Meant to Be, Wedding Plan, Cherry Magic, Faceless Love, School President, and We Are. Meant to Be was more like a countryside romance between two characters, a girl and a boy. They known each other throughout their childhood because her grandmother lived in the country, but they had to go spend time with their grandma because it was, I believe, a big flood was going to happen in the city, so the mother wanted the kids to be safe. And the main girl, she ended up falling in love with the boy who lived in the country. Wedding Planner was a BL drama about a wedding planner who was planning this dude's wedding to a girl, and it ended up being a fake wedding. They're basically just doing, I think it's called like a lavender marriage, where both people LGBTQ because one's gay and one's a lesbian, and so they get married to hide the relationship. He was doing that because the girl was his best friend and he wanted her to be happy with her girlfriend, but mother was not very accepting, so they planned a whole fake wedding, and he ended up falling in love with the wedding planner, and the wedding planner got all sad because he's I'm breaking up a marriage. I can't believe I'm doing that. Like he felt all wrong about it, and then he basically discovered, oh, the wedding's fake. I guess you can go through with the wedding, and I guess I can like you guilt-free now, which is amazing, because I was in love with you. Really good story. Cherry Magic was a BL romance. It has a little bit of magic in there, but it's not like overpowering magic. It's more like they can read minds. Basically, the whole premise of the story is the main character has made 30 years old, and he hasn't found anybody to love yet, and he hasn't dated anybody really a whole lot. So he ended up getting mind-reading powers, and then he found out that one of his co-workers, who's a guy, is in love with him. So then he racked his brain around it going, do I love him back? Do I not love him? Like, what am I going to do? And then eventually he decided, I do in fact love him. And then they got together, and it was happy ever after. It was a really sweet story. Also, as soon as he ended up kissing the coworker for the first time and having sex, he ended up losing his mind-reading powers. Faceless Love was about a CEO who as a kid, his mother abandoned him because she had dementia at a theme park. She didn't want her son to know she had dementia, and she didn't want her family to find out where she was. So she hid from her son for all these years because of it. And her son was always worried, like, what happened to my mom? I want to know what happened to my mom. And he ended up developing face blindness because of his mom abandoning him. And then the main girl of the story, she ended up knowing who his mom is, because she befriended his mom, and then she forced her way into his company by using his mom's name, using her hot chocolate recipe, and impressing the dude. And they ended up falling in love, and eventually she came clean and was like, I know about your mom. I know where your mom is. I can take you to go see your mom if you want. And he was like, of course I want to go see my mom. I want to spend much time I can possibly with my mom. And then he found out she had dementia, and she was all worried, like, you shouldn't have to take care of me. And he was like, you're my mom, so of course I want to go take care of you. It's a very sweet story. If you're loving this video on different ways to relax and coping skills that I find helpful for when the world is very shitty, then please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please comment down below one of your favorite ways to relax. School President is a BL that's about the president of the school, like the student body. He fell in love with a guy who was in the music club, and it's basically just a story about the music club dude falling in love with the school president making opportunities for them to get close. It was just a very sweet romance. Leah is a BL story. It was a romance, and it was about a group of friends, so it had very much big romance plot, but also had a plot between all the friends, just being friends. Leah was set in college. Each couple got together. It was just very sweet. The main characters were in a club, and the secondary characters, which were also part of the main characters, just showing a little bit less, were in the engineering and, other departments of school. For Chinese dramas that I love is Reset, The Rational Life, or Rational Life, I'm not sure which one, by Mr. Mermaid, Mr. Swimmer. Reset was a story that's kind of like Groundhog Day, where the day restarts over and over and over and over and over until you can solve the problem. Basically, this boy and this girl had an issue where the day would restart every time they died, because they happened to be on the bus on the day that happened to explode, and they were basically having to figure out, how can I stop the bus from exploding? And the day would not progress until after they figured that out. And over the course of working together to try to figure out how to stop this dude from hurting everybody. Over the course of trying to figure out how to stop this person from hurting everybody, they end up falling in love with each other. And then at the end of the story, they figured out why the dude was wanting to hurt everybody. And they couldn't solve his reason for doing that, but they did at least save everyone, and then their life was able to go on. The Rational Life was about an older woman and a younger man getting together. The romance was very sweet. It was a workplace drama. It was very realistic. Basically, the girl, she was trying to decide the whole time if she wanted to get with the younger dude, because society pressures would tell women that they aren't supposed to be with younger men. He was also an adult, so it wasn't creepy age gap. it was just like he just happened to be way younger than her. So she was trying to decide that if she wanted to follow her heart or listen to society. And in the end, she decided to listen to her heart and do what her heart wanted, which was get with the younger dude. My Mr. Mermaid was a story about romance and swimming. The dude was on the swimming team and the girl wasn't. Mr. Swimmer was also a swimming romance where the dude was on the swimming team and the woman wasn't. But they were both really good. If you love romance and swimming and sports and all that, you'll really love those stories. My third coping skill is I stay away from the news more than normal. My third coping skill is when I'm feeling overwhelmed, mad, sad, anxious, basically any of the emotions, every time that I look at the news, it basically just means that I need a little break and I need to stay away from the news for a couple days, maybe a few weeks, until, I can relax some, and then I can start looking at the news a little bit more frequently like I normally do. But sometimes I just need a little break from the news, so I do that. My fourth coping skill is I listen to tons of music. I listen to anything from pop music, country, Thai, Korean, Chinese, French, rock, folk music, Broadway tunes, Disney, soundtracks. Some of my favorite artists are Taylor Swift, Dave Kusher, I think is how you pronounce his name. I'm not sure if I said that right though. Green Day is another singer I love. Kate Underwood, Blake Shelton, Blink-182, Chapel Rowan, Selena Gomez, Sabrina Carpenter, the band The Carpenters, I should say, Jackson 5, The Beatles, Thomas Rhett, My Chemical Romance, Motley Crue, Imagine Dragons, Fall Out Boy, All American Reject, One Direction, Harry Styles, Bananarama, Diane Ross. Those are just some of the singers and bands I typically listen to. I can pretty much do like a whole variety of music for the most part, but there are some music that I hate, like the blues, jazz, gospel, rap, anything too electronic, like dubstep, for example. I don't like that type of music, but like for the most part, I can listen to like anything. My fifth coping skill is when things get bad, I go to therapy, I talk to people, let them know what's up. My sixth coping skill, when I need to do something very artistic, but don't feel like putting a lot of like thought into it, I would color in coloring books. I'm going to show you 4 coloring books that I really love, but I own a lot more for coloring books. This is just one coloring book. It's the Pusheen coloring book. This is the only thing I have colored in the book so far. It's not very much, but it's something. I really love the illustration in this book because it's very cute. It's not too intricate. When I feel like, doing something a little less detailed, I can pull out this book. I have a ton of these coloring books that Disney released on different things like Star Wars, the Disney villains, Moana, Frozen, Mickey Mouse, for example. Here's the page I have started in this Star Wars coloring book. This one so happens to be the Rogue One Star Wars coloring book. This is the Art of Coloring Disney Moana. This coloring book is one of my most colored in books. Here's one page I've done. Here's some of the coloring I've done. It's a very good coloring book for when I don't really want. It's a good coloring book when I just want to put like a tiny bit of color down, but I don't want to have to put like a whole page or like finish a page at once. I can just do like a few little sections at a time. I mostly use like fine liners and Crayola washable markers in this book. I do have plans to go over it with colored pencils so it looks a little less shaky. But yeah, that's just some of the coloring that I've done in this book. This is one of my most colored in coloring books. I really do love every page. There's not a single page that I hate in this book. And then I have a mandala coloring book. It's really good for when I want to only use markers to color in the coloring page. I can come to here and just use that. I won't have to focus on doing shading or anything too complicated. Basically, it's like very mindless coloring. I mean, the other books, they're very relaxing and they're not, you don't have to think too hard with them. But this is even more mindless than the rest of the coloring books are. Plus, with the other coloring books, depending on the page, you gotta shade it and stuff. At least I feel like I gotta shade it and stuff. But with this coloring book, I don't feel the need to shade it. And one mandala I've done. I much prefer coloring in mandalas than drawing mandalas. Here's a very Valentine's Day one. Here's a very wintry snowflake one. Here's another mandala I've done. Here's another mandala I've done. So yeah, I really love this 100 mandalas coloring book. It's by the Mantra Craft, I think is how you say it. It's MANTRACRAFT. I really enjoy this book. My 7th coping skill is when I'm thinking about something repeatedly. I can't get out of my head and I can't sleep because I'm thinking about a thought so hard. I will go and I'll write down either on like Google Doc or like Google Keep, for example, and I'll just write down all my feelings until I get it all out. And then after it's put down on the page, I'm finally able to stop thinking about it and will go on with my life, you know? I know that a lot of people tend to like meditating, but I've never found meditation to be helpful for myself. I find that creates anxiety. I don't know whether it's because I can't really see images in my head and all I see is like blackness essentially, or if it's because I hate silence and find silence to be kind of anxiety inducing, if that makes sense. But meditation has never worked for me, but a lot of people swear by it. My 8th coping skill is painting. I love to paint with watercolor, acrylics, mostly just acrylics and watercolor because that's what I have on hand, and that's what I like using the most. I like doing very jewelry paintings, very abstract, sometimes like doing like flowers and like animals and buildings and things. It's a 9 of 10. Coping skill is sewing different things. Like my most recent thing I sewed was a quilt. This is the quilt I made recently. But I've sewn things like a stuffed raccoon plushie, a cat plushie, for example. I'm working on many sewing projects at the moment, like a hand sewing needle book, a hot dog sweater, sewing, no wait, they're called pattern weights. For some reason I always want to call them sewing weights, but that's wrong. The pattern weights, my 10th or 11th coping skill, whichever one it is. I have 4 dogs. They're all chihuahuas. Only one of them is a pure breed chihuahua. The rest are chihuahua mixes. And when the world's messy and you're sad about it, or you're mad, or whatever, it always lifts my spirit to hug and pet my chihuahuas. Because they're just the best of pets. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel and join the community.